Welcome everyone to Talking Rock Band. I'm Shannon Cox. I'm very excited to be here doing this finally. I've been promising to do this for a couple months now. If you've been following on my Facebook page, you've known that I promised this back in April. Things happened. It got pushed back to June of 2025, in case you're watching this way in the future from now. I sent out a small 3-minute intro a few weeks ago. You don't have to watch that to know anything about me. I'm not a musician. I just have a lot of opinions and I like to talk about rock. Since this is my first recording, I'm just going to go off some notes here, so bear with me. First time ever doing the videos. I'm real nervous. It's okay though. We're going to get through this. We're going to love it. I am going to love it anyway. This is my passion project. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for likes, subscribes. Even though if you want to like and subscribe, or if you're following me on a podcast, more power to you. I love it. I hope you join me on this journey. I think we're going to have fun. I'm going to have a co-host, Ben Menard, from time to time. Today it's just me and you, actually. So we're going to get started with it. The name of today's episode is A Saxon, a Diamond Head, and a Judas Priest Walk into a Bar. For a first episode, that's a pretty cryptic title. 3 heavy metal, hard rock bands, whatever you want to call them. 2 that I've really just given attention to, Saxon and Diamond Head. Some fairly recent albums by all 3 is what I'm going to go over today. And I figured I would start by just talking about my how I rate these things. I'm considered to be pretty hard on what I like. If I like it, I like it. If it's mediocre, I tend to give it a second chance and maybe learn to love it. But I don't exactly waste my time on stuff that just sounds not good to me. So I have a 0 to 10 scale here. So if I give you a 0, I'm not wasting my time with you. I'm going to turn this off if I hear it on radio or whatever. I give you a 1. You're so annoying, I probably would turn you off. 2, I'm just not interested in the music. 3, I do not like it, but if it's playing on the radio, I'll ignore it and just wait for the next song. 4 is pretty much neutral. I could give or take it, care less. 5, I'm interested a little bit. 6, I'm willing to listen to it again. This is where it goes into, it may sound mediocre at first, and maybe later on it hits me, and I even have a story by a song about that. Bleeding Me by Metallica. It's currently one of my favorite songs by Metallica. It was from an album, it was from the 90s, right after the Black Album, and I just didn't give the song a chance, didn't care. Then in 2018, a personal tragedy hit me, and then COVID came, and I started re-listening to a lot of old music that I had not listened to in probably 10 years, 15 years, something like that. And this song popped up, and it really just resonated with me. So this song would have fallen into that category, and now would be a lot higher just because it really resonates with me and is a personal choice of mine. Probably one of my favorite Metallica songs of all time. Again, that's Bleeding Me. Number 7, or rating 7. If I rate you a 7, I've added you to my library. Number 8, I've added you to a playlist. A 9, I've favorited you on playlist, and I don't mind listening to you over and over and over again. And if you get a 10, which is going to be super rare for me. In fact, you're not going to find a 10 on any of these 3 albums today. You're in constant rotation, and it's a song that if it comes on, I'll stop what I'm doing and pay attention to you and listen over and over and over again, because it really just, I feel so much from it. So that's my rating scale. If that bores you, I get it. What I'm going to do is I rate every song individually, and I take the number of songs and multiply it by 10 and then do a percentage. of that and give it a critical score, kind of like a Rotten Tomatoes. I, again, am not any kind of professional. I've never been in the music business. I love what I do. As you can hear, I'm a stay-at-home dad. Um, but I have strong opinions on this stuff, and it's my opinion. Nobody has to agree with me. If you got comments, lay them in the chat or in the comments or whatever, and I may respond to you. I may not. If you're just vulgar and want to pick a fight, I'm probably not going to waste my time with you. If you want to have a good discussion, I may even have you on the show. I am not against doing live streams. I'm not against having people on. I've actually reached out to a couple of bands to see if they may be interested into it. One band actually responded and said, "Hey, once you get so many subscribers, we'll jump on there." It's actually not a huge amount, so that's something I'm gonna look forward to. Really, really hope happens. Um, so back to the task at hand today. I'm gonna start with Saxon, a band I really had not heard a whole lot about, except for in name only, and knew they were hard rock, heavy metal. Been around forever. Um, the members of note that I have for this album are Biff Byford, basically the vocalist, and Brian Tatler. He's on the main guitar. The name of the album is Hellfire and Damnation. It was released in January 2024. As you see, I have notes. I'm doing this just so I don't forget anything. That'll go away with time, hopefully. Just bear with me if you want to. The track listing. Number one is The Prophecy. It's an intro. I'm not the biggest on intros. Sometimes they really make me happy. Sometimes I could care less. Let's switch this over to welcoming you back. You should know what the name of the episode is by now. Out of a 10, I give The Prophecy intro a 6 out of 10. The second track is Hellfire and Damnation. I pleasantly was blown away by this song. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Has a great beginning with drums banging and fantastic. It's calling out during the chorus. It just makes you want to go, Hellfire and Damnation. And I say I give it an 8. I listen to this song a lot now. So much. I've even bought the shirt. You'll probably see it in a future episode if you tune back in. The third track is Madame Guillotine. 7 of 10. Has a nice bass line. I had to look at who the guitarist was. Sounded like Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, but Brian Tatler was a huge influence on Dave. Love the perspective and history. I mean, that would be a dream interview or just even speak to Dave Mustaine, even if it was just for him to come on and say, fuck off, or whatever. Fourth track is Fire and Steel, again a 7 of 10. It picked up the tempo from previous tracks. The other ones had been a little bit slower and plodding at times. I liked it spoke about the building of cities. It really got the pace rolling for me. Maybe you want to listen to more of the album, because sometimes I'll listen to a few songs and then give it a break and come back. This album I've actually listened to top to bottom 4 times, just since I even got it on Apple Music. Have loved it. I usually am a physical CD person. I'm not out of the realm of picking this up on live CD. I just don't have too much of a format to play it on anymore. I have a CD player in the house, but it's just as easy to slap on Apple Music on a Bluetooth speaker when I'm mowing the yard or tending to stuff in the house. I don't have to drive the wife and kids crazy with screaming and banging and rocking out. The fifth one was There's Something in Roswell. 6 of 10. It had a cool spacey intro, a good story. Nothing really to see here. It just was okay. Number 6 was disappointing to me. It's called Kubla Khan and the Merchant of Venice. I enjoyed the guitars and the solo. I personally love history songs. Love them. Some of my favorite ones are about books, about history. Maybe I'll do episodes on those later on. This one will not make it. It just seemed like the lyrics were forced. They didn't fit the music. The music was good. The lyrics just seemed like, hey, we got this laying around here. I've got these riffs and tracks. I just can't figure anything out what to do. So let's put them together and see if it sticks. To me, it didn't stick. I gave it a 4 of 10. Um, Biff's voice was fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but the lyrics just did it in for me. I've I've listened to it through the album, like I said, 4 times, and I've given it a good shot. Maybe another day, not today. Pirates of the Airwaves is the seventh track. Gave it a 4 of 10 as well. It's a slow, meandering song that to me felt uninspired until it got to the breakdown solo. Again, the musicianship by Saxon is fantastic. I have no problems with that. Those were its only saving graces. I mean, was the musicianship, the vocals and lyrics were okay on this one. Number 8 is called 1066. 1066. 4 of 10 again. Uninspired. It mostly bored me. I think at one point I did fall asleep listening to it. I've listened to it 4 times. It just hasn't impressed me. I felt, again, it was a filler song. Sad to say, this band's been around for quite a long time. I'm sure at times you run a little dry in the well and you put in what you got. No judgment. It's just not for me. If it speaks to you and you have something to say about it that could inspire me to get in there and listen, have it. Track 9, Witches of Salem. 6 of 10. It was a much better effort on this track. Lyrics are right on and the music fit much better. The band honestly felt a little tired. I'm hoping if I see this band live ever, and they play it, it sounds better. Some songs just sound better live than on an album, and vice versa. I've heard so many songs on the album just kicked ass. You listen live, and you're like, wow, they really worked this over in the studio, and I understood they made it a hit, but I can't believe they're playing this live. Either you didn't practice it, or it's just your take on it, and it's your song. You do what you want. I'm not going to give you a hard time over that. The 10th and final song was Supercharger. I gave it a 6 of 10. It's a nice riff to begin the song. Great way to finish up the album. The solo by Brian Tatler was very cool. Needed just a little bit more energy, and this could have been such a sonically better song. I felt that they really hacked the good stuff at the beginning of this album. The first 5 songs were great. The last 2 were great. It's just the 6, 7, and 8 just really drug the album down, and the overall score is going to respond to that. Out of a score of 100, got a 58. 58% was my rating. If you enjoyed this album a lot more, tell me about it. I'm totally fine with that. If those 3-4 songs had just been better, I would have given it a lot higher rating. All right, so that is Hellfire and Damnation by Saxon. Second album, Diamond Head, The Coffin Train, came out in March of 2019. Now, I was not that aware of Diamond Head. I had heard Am I Evil by Metallica first, and then I heard Diamond Head perform it at Rocklahoma on like a video. I've seen a few of their songs on YouTube. They have a newer lead singer, Rasmus Baum Anderson. I hope I am not butchering that. And again, Brian Tatler, oddly enough, is the guitarist on this. One of these is his full-time band, and the other one is where it's his second gig. Hey, man, whatever pays the bills. He kicks ass on both albums. I am pleasantly surprised that he does this. Again, the influence on Megadeth and even Metallica on this one is really apparent. Sorry, I had to have a little drink there. Um, we'll go into the track listing. First song, Belly the Beast. It was a 5 of 10. I expected more of a ripper of a song to begin the album. It felt muted at times, but Rasmus Baum Anderson's vocals, I'm not going to say his name every time, did not disappoint. The lyrics fit very well alongside a short wailing solo by Tatler, which was great. Number 2, The Messenger, 7 of 10. Now, this song would have been a better choice to lead off the album, in my opinion. The beginning of the track is a rocking time that morphs into marching rhythm and vocals that command the listener's respect. I personally love songs like that. They get your attention and they just keep you going. Third song, The Coffin Train, 7 of 10. I had to check the track listing on this a second time. It started out real cool and then the vocal hit me. Rasmus channeled a little Chris Cornell for this song. I was blown away. This is a great little haunting song I wish I'd found sooner for my collection. It's going on 6 years old. I just picked it up, this month or last month actually, and so I'm kind of wishing I'd smartened up the Diamond Head sooner. I am definitely going to look into more of their stuff, with and without Rasmus Anderson. The fourth song, Shades of Black, 6 of 10. It was laid back and slowly plods along with a somber vocal that begs to give it more time to sink in. I felt they could have worked a little bit more to develop it. I mean, it hooks you in a little bit, but it could have been just a little bit better. The fifth track is a prelude, The Sleeper. I really just kind of hooked it in with the sixth track, The Sleeper. Gave them a 6/10 collectively. I would have been interested in hearing the song live, as it feels like it could have been better. It did remind me of a combination of Tool and Metallica. Shows up how Tatler has been influencing other metal bands over the years. Again, Metallica, Megadeth, I'm not going to beat that to the ground, but he really, really has been an influence on these guys. I would love to know what they say, and I'll have to look that up and maybe report that or do a comparison later on down the line if anybody's interested. Number 7 was disappointing. It was called Death by Design. It was a 4 of 10 for me. It seemed like I had heard this before. It seemed like it kind of been recycled. Nothing really grabbed me good or bad about the song. It felt like it really just didn't even belong in the album. It was just kind of a throwaway. Number 8 was Serrated Love. I gave it a 4 of 10. Started out with a decent repetitive groove that seemed to just flounder and not go anywhere. I was really disappointed. Number 9, different story. 7 of 10 for a song called The Phoenix. This reminded me of an early 2000s hard rock song I would hear on an alternative station. Not what I expected from Diamond Head. I'm very pleasantly surprised. I love eras from the 60s all the way up to now. Grunge. For a little while I was into it, and this song just seemed like it would go right in there and fit perfectly. This is a song that has come along at a time when it was not appreciated. I do feel like it could have been put in the 90s. It felt like it was kind of also an inspiration for Audio Slave or Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace kind of vibe. So that's The Phoenix. Number 10, and the final track, Until We Burn. This is the song that I rated the highest on the album, an 8 of 10. And again, another song reminiscent of the 90s. I feel like Chris Cornell or Scott Weiland, again, was channeled on this one. An enjoyable song that will find its place in my playlist until I just burn out on it. But it was great. The musicianship just really sparkled on this. Um, the beginning and the ending of this album were pretty good. I gave it an overall 54 out of a possible 90%. So it came out with a 60% score total. I know that seems low for a couple of songs I had really high, but once it drug it down, just really bottomed out. I don't know what else to say about them. They struggled, um, and maybe that's just the way their writing goes. Like I said, I'm going to dig into more to Diamond Head. I'm glad I walked them into my bar here, um, and I'll definitely listen to more of their stuff, not just Am I Evil. Last album, Judas Priest, Invincible Shield, the deluxe edition. I have It's the only edition I've heard, so it has extra songs in I guess, the regular edition. It came out in November of 2023. Members note, of course, the legendary metal god Rob Halford, Glenn Tipton, and a guy that's been with the band quite a while now, Richie Faulkner. The guitar solos and the dual guitar tech was fantastic. I really appreciated this. I had a low bar for this album when I first picked it up. I'm not one of those guys that want to jump on an album as soon as it comes out because I don't like listening to talking heads, which is kind of ironic since I'm doing a recording about these, but I'm doing it in retrospect. Um, this album came out. I heard a lot of hoopla about it. People on SiriusXM were cheering for it, saying it was a great comeback. From what I've learned, though, with Glenn Tipton's diagnosis of his health, it may be his last album. If it is, he is going out on a hell of a note. The guy has definitely played his ass off on this, unless Richie Faulkner did both guitars and they just give Glenn Tipton credit. I doubt that happened because Glenn still occasionally plays with them live. And from my understanding, they're still really damn good. Track listing. First track, Panic Attack. I gave it a 9 of 10. I was blown away by the album starter. It was the perfect album starter. Could possibly become one of my favorite Priest tracks of all time. The nice sonic intro that turns up the speed and almost immediately heads into Halford screams and that sonic assault that I just crave from some albums. As you maybe see on my wall, one of my albums is Painkiller. This album was kind of a throwback to Painkiller in some respects, which was, to me, fantastic. I'm not going to complain about that. Painkiller is still on my playlist to this day, almost 30 some odd years later. The second track, The Serpent and the King, I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's a good follow-up track to Panic Attack. It had some heart and rocked hard. Um, it it tells a little fantasy story, nothing really fantastic about it except for that musicianship, and it just grabs you. It had the energy that I crave. The third song is Invincible Shield. It's a 7 of 10 again. It's the title track to the album. Surprised me at how hard it turned out to be. First seeing the name and the artwork for Invincible Shield, I took it for granted that this song would more than likely be a softer song or maybe even a ballad. I was fooled. After giving it a shot, I was amazed at how fluid the rock flowed through the music and the lyrics. It had a story. I was over the moon about it. Number 4 track, Devil in Disguise. 7 of 10. Hard riff to begin with and lays down a sophisticated bass groove. Rob Halford. What can you say about the man that hasn't been said? Nothing. I just got to do what he did in the song Echo. He echoed vocals at the start of it and at the beginning of some verses. It was a nice touch. I imagine if I had a decent rock station in my area, I would hear this on it. It's just radio friendly, but still rocking. Um, the fifth track, called Gates of Hell, I give it an 8 of 10. The dual guitars, Faulkner and Tipton, man, they shine at the beginning of this. Sadly, I pondered this as Glenn Tipton's last music due to his health again, as I said before. Just reading some of my notes here. Um, the song Calling Back to 80s Priest, again, back to Painkiller. It did have a radio quality to it, and it makes you sing along with the lyrics. That I have down here, the quote is, "Oh, we're screaming through the gates of hell, and hell is where we reign." Classic Priest. I'm not even going to attempt to burden you with the sound of my voice. It's terrible singing, so I'm not going to sing for you. Be thankful. Number six, Crown of Thorns. Gave it an 8 of 10. The slow build suckers you in and grooves for the rest of the track. I hope this song finds its way to you. The song feels like it was manufactured for 80s glam rock, radio 2.0. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed the song, but I feel it was lost in time and it's just been dug up from the archives and laid down on the record. And they said, "Let's run with it, baby." Number seven, As God Is My Witness. 7 of 10. Fast tempo. Back to that great 80s walking priest. I love the chorus repeating the threat of hell to pay. It drags a bit in the verses, but I still enjoy hearing this over and over again. It's just killer. God, I hope this isn't Tipton's last album, but if it is, what a way to go. Number 8, Trial by Fire. Gave it a 6 of 10. Not much here for me yet. I'm going to give it a few more listens probably down the line. I've listened to this one at least 5 times. It just comes across as okay. Maybe I'll give it another shot out. Track number 9, Escape from Reality. I give it a 7 of 10. This is a cool song that I'd rate higher if this verses sounded more sung rather than being read from a book. I hate stuff like that. If you've ever heard the Metallica album Lulu, it was terrible. I hated it. Just because it felt like it was being read. I love reading, but I don't think it was cool with all this music with just being read to. It just struck me as odd. But I did love the refrain. Number 10, Sons of Thunder. I give it a 4 of 10. Worst song on the album, bar none. This came across as complete filler to me. Not terrible, but just cliche. Like I said, nothing really to say about this one. Number 11, Giants in the Sky. Give it a 6 of 10. Seemed like a throwaway song at first time I listened to it. After multiple listens, I gave the lyrics a closer look and realized it's a tribute of sorts. I felt that it salvaged it enough to warrant adding it to my collection. Not the worst song to end the album on. The next 3 songs were not on the original release, but came out on the deluxe edition. I've never understood why bands do this except for milk fans from multiple purchases. The age of on-demand music has helped me so much in just clicking the new version of Staying Pain twice. I don't have unlimited funds. This podcast has 0 budget. My wife will kill me if I spend money on it, so you're going to get what you get. Don't expect anything more than free versions of stuff from software. I'm here to be honest with you. The 12th track, called Fight of Your Life. I give it a 6 of 10. The song sounds like Axl Rose is duetting with Rob Halford. I could not find any information about that, so it's either Rob doubling vocals or Axl is uncredited. I doubt Axl Rose would be uncredited on something like that. I wouldn't go on my way for the song, but it plays. I'll dig it. The 13th song, Vicious Circle. 6 of 10. It's just a short banger. Nothing really stood out to me about this song. I like the riffs and the drums, but there are way better songs on the album. I've listened to it multiple times and it just hasn't stuck out with me. Maybe another time. Different story with the last song on the deluxe edition, The Lodger. An 8 of 10. In my opinion, this song should have been on the non-deluxe album. I felt this could have even been a single. I love the storytelling in it. The Lodger easily could have been the original closer on the album. After looking up the song, I realized that it was written outside of Judas Priest by a man named Bob Halligan Jr., who has done a lot of work with rock artists over time. He's done multiple songs with Judas Priest before. His credits with Judas Priest are "Some Heads Are Gonna Roll" from Defenders of the Faith and "Take These Chains" from Screaming for Vengeance. So that is the Invincible Shield album. I hope everybody has a great day and tune in again. Thank you much. Bye bye.